Okay, so now we move on to timing of trades. That is the business of today, how we time our trades, right? I always introduce with this, the motivating statement. The incredible brain can take you from rags to riches, from loneliness to popularity, from depression to happiness and joy if you use it properly. I think this one is self-explanatory. The way you use your brain will determine where it takes you to. Right, so today, our business is on timing and the taking of trades. So just a recap of what we talked about. We said our method is based on 3 levels in a cycle. Then we expect a reversal after 3 levels in a cycle. And we also said there can be a variation of the theme whereby the cycle might be 2 levels or 2.5 levels, sometimes even 1. And it is our duty to notice when that happens. And I was glad that the example came out very well when we were looking at Euro USD last week, where I was saying there are 2 possibilities: either they are resetting level 2 or they are resetting the whole cycle. That means they just ended at the 2 levels, and it came out that they just ended the 2 levels and moved 3 levels up. And I'm sure Geshem was correct there. And I also saw news analysis to that effect. Then in timing our trades, it's a good day that we are talking about this today. So on Monday, like I said, there's always a fake move. So if you are entering a trade on Monday, you should be very sure that they've done a certain setup to create a W or an M or a head and shoulder on Friday. If you can't see such a setup on Friday, then you should know that the first move on Monday is a fake move. The fake move is a bit different from the stop hand when it comes to Monday. Monday, they can move a complete level in the opposite direction that will either reset or extend the cycle. Then they will come back after that. And it's very important for us to take note of that occurrence. So what I'm saying is on Monday, unless if you see a setup that happened on Friday and you see that they are just confirming that setup on Monday, that's the only time when you can enter a trade before the New York session. Otherwise, if you don't see a proper setup on Monday, wait for the New York session and see the setup. Usually they might give it a try in the London session, then they come back again in the New York session. And so those things, you should be very aware of them. Then the next thing is avoid being under pressure to enter a trade. Like I said, their business is to entice you into taking a trade. So when you know the issue of enticing is encouraging someone to do something, although it might be detrimental at the end of the day, but they will try to do that. So in order to trade properly, those are our timings of the BTMM trading calendar. So for the year, we avoid trading December 15 to January 10. I know December 15 would be very ideal for people, they want to make money for Christmas, but that is a very dangerous time because the real market makers, they will go on holiday and they leave their trainees who can do anything. So it's very, very advisable that you take your break December 15 to January 10 or even January 15. Let them play around. I traded that section last year, and I realized that I was always on my toes. The cycles were not coming out well. The setups were not coming out well. Those guys were just moving around. and they were just hitting everyone. So December 15 to January 10, take a break somewhat a month. If you were trading properly the whole year, you should have made some money to go on holiday. Then for the month, avoid the non-farm payroll of the Americans. That is the first Friday of every month. So if you trade the first Friday of the month, in our case, and normally happens in the New York session, around that time when they make the announcement, yeah, the market might ill-treat you and you'll be very, very disappointed. So after that, those news, remember we said the market makers also use news to perpetrate their moves. So they wait for that news and then they hit you using that news, and it will be their excuse. So avoid the first Friday of every month. Maybe if you want to check it, you can go on your demo. NFP is very bad and very good. If they go on your site, you can make a lot of money on that day. But if they don't go on your site, you can blow your account. But then I would say better be safe. Just avoid NFP. Right? Then for the week, this is how the week is set in our trading calendar. So the best trades, we normally get them between Thursday into Friday. Those are where all setups will have come out and you can actually see where it is going. So Thursday into Friday is a very good day, probably the best. Then you can also get good trades Wednesday into Thursday. Again, some setups will have been clear there, and you can definitely find something interesting in those days. Then Tuesday into Wednesday, again, you can get good trades, especially if a setup happens on Monday and it repeats on Tuesday, then it will be a very good day. If it gives you a multi-day, either M or W formation, it will be a very, very good trading day for you. Monday, it's a bit poisonous to trade on Monday, but after the London session into the New York session might give good setups, which might give you even good swing trades. So you will see that the week is better traded backwards. Thursday into Friday, Wednesday into Thursday, Tuesday into Wednesday, Monday into Tuesday. Fridays, so you can take your trades on Fridays, but it's also a bit tricky because they might again execute their trade moves at that period. So that is our timing. Then for the day, this is obvious, we trade Asian into London setups. Then we also trade London into New York setups. Those are our two trading times. So if you don't find a setup during those two trading times, my best advice would be that just leave it. It's better not to trade for the day than to lose your money. So Asian into London, if you don't find a setup, try London into New York. If you don't find something, it's not a problem, just leave it. It's a problem when you end up and then you don't find any good news in those trades. Right, then how do we take our trades? So I want to check down on the H1 chart. So you start with the H4 for peak formation identification. Like I was saying, go into the 4-hour time frame, get your peak formation there. It will be very good to do that. Then after finding a peak formation or a peak in the H4, you switch to H1 and observe peak formations more closely, right? We'll look at it again. I think I demonstrated it last week. So we are saying this will be a 4H. Maybe find a 4H is doing this. That is a peak formation according to us. Then I check down to H1. So I zoom into this part. Then I try to observe what happened before this. You might find out that you also find 3 levels of the H1. then automatically you are expecting a stop and low and then an upward movement, right? So you determine the direction according to your level count. If you find out that you are level 2, you are going down. If you are at level 3 in the H1, you are going up. Then you put your directional arrow so that you don't get lost in the noise of the market. Then you go back 3 to 5 trading days to confirm the level. So you should find one consolidation, another consolidation, and another consolidation. It means you are at level 3, right? If you find only 2 consolidations, it means you are at level 2, you expect to go down, right? Then check the day of the week, right? Remember we said Monday, normally we come in like that, fake move on Monday, then start moving 1, 2, and 3, maybe Wednesday, 1, 2, 3 into Friday, right? So I'm saying it is very important to know the week of the day of the week. If it is a Monday, then that's where you expect the stop and of the week. But remember, it's a Monday, so it also has its own fun stop and, then the stop and of the week, then it comes back to execute the what? The trade. Then if it is Wednesday, it's good to recount and see if the pay has not completed 3 cycles, because you might expect a reversal. If it hasn't completed, maybe it will be completing on Thursday and the like. It's very important to always have your correct count about the day of the week. Then after you form your directional bias, you switch to M15. So in M15, that's where we expect that Asian session, we expect our 3 pulls as a stop and, then maybe a W formation, then we expect our 1, 2, 3 moves in the day and another consolidation. So this will be our time when we are checking for the setup. If it is again on the New York, maybe coming out of the Asian, normally they will do their stop and in the out of the London, then they form their W, then they start to move upwards or downwards on that day. So if you were in the London day and you observe that stop and then your count is telling you that it should end there, then you can also expect to go up there or go down. So these consolidations and stop and we expect them. This one we said it's between 8 and 10, more normally 8 to 10. And then this one we said is normally 2 to 4 or 4:30, somewhere there in the New York session. That's where you expect those stop ends and also the directional movement. Then now on the M15, we scan the proper Asian range and market. Then we look for the breakout with 3 pushes. So Asian marked, find a breakout, 1, 2, 3 pushes. They should be very encouraging and enticing those pushes, and you know that you are at the right time. Then wait for the high of the day or low of the day to settle for 30 or more minutes. 30 minutes, we said you are just expecting an RR. But if it is not that, then it should be 90 minutes up to even 2 hours for you to have your setup coming out well. So we wait for this position. Let's say it was 10 o'clock, 10 to 11, they should be working on the high of the day or the low of the day. So you are waiting to see your setup in the making. Remember, if you can't see a setup, do not enter. So here we're expecting an M should go up, and down, then we can enter. If it was a stop and low, we expect a W down and up, and then they go. We are saying we enter at this second leg. First leg, we let it go. Second leg, then we can enter. Remember our Ws, it can be a perfect W like this, right? This is a normal W. It can be an extended W like that. It can be an outside structure W like that. It's still a W, but at least you should see something close to that for you to enter the trade, right? Then, if it's an M, again, it can be a regular M, which comes at the same level. It can be an extended M, whereby the next move is slightly above that one. Or it can be an outside structure, where the M is like this. Those are still M's and are tradable, but the most important thing is for us to be able to properly identify them. The trick is on being able to properly identify those structures. So if you find that, then this should be marked, sorry. This should be marked, I have to correct that. Mark the shadow box of the first leg. So let's say it was a W. It leaves a shadow, some call it a candle wick. So I come here and mark this shadow. So what is my expectation? My expectation is that they will attempt to come into this region. Whether they reach it or come deeper into it and go back, but that is what I'm looking for. So this will be your first leg, then this will be your second leg where you take your entry, right? Don't be in a hurry. The market is always there. So if you can't enter, if you can't see the second leg, sometimes it goes and it goes away. Then you say, that day I missed it, let me enter. Then it will come back and maybe hit your stops even lower than that. So better enter the second leg. Second leg, you will not go wrong. Whether they come and extend the line, you just wait there and find a reversal pattern at that point. Then you enter. So that's basically how you deal with it. So you wait for the directional 2-out candle to close and other triggers. So we are saying the second leg, it normally has another pin, which might not be a perfect pin, but somehow it should show a shadow at the other side, right? Then, when it shows you a shadow, we expect one big candle to come in. This candlestick will be a pull-out candle. That means they are now moving away from the shadow box. That means they are moving away from what? From the region. So whoever has been trapped in this region by going in the wrong direction will be drawn into loss in one candle, sometimes 10 to 15 pips. Then they might follow another candle that slightly goes back into that. And normally after the pull-out candle, you wait to enter in the next one, then you go. You normally not get bad results from there, right? So when you make your entry there, then you are fine. Then place your order with a stop loss, 12 to 23 pips of the high of the day. So if it was, okay, let me demonstrate that one on the M. So this was the first leg, this was the second leg, right? Let's say you waited for the pull-out candlestick. Then after that, normally they follows another one. Or once you get this one, you can just enter. Doesn't matter where it will take you to. Maybe it gets you in here. So you measure from here to there. Let's say it had moved 8 pips away from there. Then you add 12. That means your stop loss will be somewhere here, which will be at around 20 pips. That will be what? Your stop loss. Why are we saying this? They might make a third try to that side. And normally they might pass by about 7 pips or so, and they will not get you there. If you put it too close, they might just come and snatch your stop loss and go back and move. That's why we want to pull it away. But now, if they move and breach this, let's say another candlestick comes and closes there, then the next candlestick comes and closes above it. Before they hit your stop loss, just click exit and get out of that trade. It will be a very good decision to make because you don't know what is happening now. So whenever you are no longer very sure of what is happening, just take yourself out of the trade. Then you monitor a trade after 2 hours. Then if there's no movement after 2 hours, in most cases, you move out, unless if you can explain what is happening. Like maybe you've taken a swing trade and the like, and you realize that maybe you had made an early entry, they had not done the double structure, like in the London, they might just come here, then you are entering there, then they will consolidate there, waiting to retake the same point in the New York. So if you notice that, okay, they're making a return in the New York, you might not move out of the trade. But if you are not sure, then 2 hours from entering the second leg, just move out of the trade. And also if the 2 hours expire and you are into the session changeover, I would also advise you to what? To go out of the trade and wait for the setup to be okay. But with practice, maybe later on you might realize that you can decide, no, I'm still fine, let's go. Maybe you've made a late entry, right? Sometimes the formation was here, you missed it. They've moved maybe up to this point and they're around 23 pips from the base, right? That means you have forced yourself into a very big stop loss of around 35, which is a bit unhealthy. So what would be your alternative? Your alternative maybe would be to say, okay, well, they pulled out there and they wanted to make a structure. Maybe they are consolidating on that point. Those 2 hours pass and you are still there. But you know that they've just left this point, and when they come back somewhere close to that, and you know, no, this is still a sure trade. You can still stick around. But if you are not sure of what is happening, just click yourself out. So that is basically the basics of entering our trades. Like I said, the final one is a short one. We'll concentrate more on we'll concentrate on the charts. So as of now, this is how we end our trades, and we want to demonstrate it on the charts. Okay. Now I think, okay, we had moved with the meeting for some time before everyone came. So let me stop out of this one, then restart again.